All right, here we are, Monday Night Raw, April 15th, 2021, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We open with a Rhea Ripley promo. This is her vacating the title. She speaks on the sprained AC joint in her shoulder, 4 to 6 weeks to recover, then another 3 months to return to in-ring action. The injury occurred during the backstage brawl with Liv Morgan on Raw. And then Morgan came out. Security gets involved. Rhea drops one of the men because, of course, she did. And can we please just stop this stuff? Like, I understand what you're trying to do, but it just doesn't look well because this door only swings one way. And I know I've harped on it. And I love Rhea Ripley, but her saying she wants intergender matches, this is a joke. Just keep it. Yeah, she didn't have to hit any of the security guards because if that was, 3 female security guards out there trying to, restrain one of the males, which doesn't make sense in the slightest, and he headbutted her, it would be, a huge thing. It was a good send-off for Rhea. She goes off for her injury and rehab and all that. So, but it led to a nice Judgment Day moment. Match 1 we go into now, the in-ring return of Sheamus versus Ivar, one half of the Viking Raiders. Sheamus has been out with a neck injury for 8 months. He's been on the roster 17 years this September, but this was a cookie-cutter match. Good crowd reaction for Sheamus. He hit an awesome white noise spot that garnered cheers from the audience. Sheamus looked gassed towards the end, but wasn't sloppy at any point during the match as far as his work went. He just needs more time to get back into shape and ring shape in particular. He wins with a bro kick. There's the pinfall. Celebrated briefly with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole post-match at ringside. Nice to see Sheamus back. Then we go with a Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable hype package. Hype shows Gable, he's there in Sammy's, where he cut his teeth in wrestling in Montreal. So that hypes up for that match for the IC title later tonight. Triple H promo. Him and Adam Pearce are getting ready to unveil the new belts here on Monday Night Raw. Pearce brings out Awesome Truth, your champions after WrestleMania for the Raw brand. They are named the World Tag Team Champions now by Hunter or Paul. I should just call him Paul now because he's not Hunter anymore. It's weird just not calling him Triple H. But so Paul, I'm just going to fucking call him Triple H. So Triple H names, R-Truth and Miz the World Tag Team Champions, gives them their new belts, which are absolutely gorgeous. I love these belts. Especially congratulates R-Truth, who finally got his WrestleMania moment. And yeah, the comedy spots during this promo were great, with Truth calling Triple H a magician and Tommaso Ciampa, Gargano and Ciampa. He said that R-Truth said that Triple H looked like Tommaso Ciampa because Ciampa dressed up like him in the DIY gimmick at WrestleMania. So yeah, there was funny spots there. Match 2 is a number 1 contenders match for the World Tag Team Championships. You have DIY, Ciampa and Gargano versus New Day, Woods and Kingston versus Julius and Brutus Creed, the Creed brothers. Nothing spectacular. Gargano and Ciampa win. Good, like I said, good spots. Not like necessarily like insane spots, but decent tag team match spots. Triple threat tag matches are usually a mess. This one was just okay. The Creed brothers were just fodder in this pretty much. Julius got some decent offense, and Brutus did literally 0 in this match. Drew McIntyre promos next. He kicks over a monitor after watching a highlight from the Fatal 4-Way match last week on Raw, where Punk interfered and cost him the match against the Uso and Bronson Reed and Ricochet, which Jey Uso would go on to win, obviously become number 1 contender. Damian Priest World Heavyweight Championship. Then we get a Chad Gable hype package. Pre-tape segment showing Gable training earlier in the day with the Creed brothers. And this is, of course, like I said earlier, leading to the Intercontinental title match against Sami Zayn. Gable's never held a singles title in WWE. He's been there for 10 years now. Goes right to a Jey Uso promo. Kathy Kelly interviews Jey about his match with Finn Balor. Thoughts on the Bloodline kicking Jimmy out. And not a lot here that I need to go into. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan segment. Replaying this segment leads into a Liv Morgan promo. Calls Rhea's injury karma for putting her on the shelf for 8 months because Liv just got back from a shoulder injury as well. Cody Rhodes has an in-ring promo. Teases the number one contender facing him at Backlash. Either AJ Styles or Los Angeles Knight, who will be wrestling this Friday night on Smackdown for that number one contender spot. He addresses Seth Rollins helping him, and Cody addresses The Rock and the Bloodline. They're infighting and brings out Jey Uso, who is the number one contender for the world title held by Damian Priest. And you get a nice little moment where, Cody says, I got your back, you had mine, you helped me. Jay's like, I got to do it on my own. And Cody goes to leave, and he's like, well, he goes, because Jay's got a match next against Finn Balor. Until we eat again, Cody leaves, which is kind of funny. But match 3, Jey Uso, Finn Balor. Finn attacks Jay from behind to start the match. Fast-paced back and forth to start off. Balor in control. Ends with Jay's spear and an Uso splash. Damian Priest stares down Jay. Then McDonough and Dom, and then Balor jump Jay. He eventually kind of lays those three out, exits through the crowd into the concourse, goes outside the arena, and meets up with Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn, who starts to make his entrance there. He makes a nice little homage to where he started and seeing a show there. And so he comes in, music hits. Sami Zayn comes in through the concourse, through the crowd. And yeah, here he is. This is a decent match in the early going against, by Chad Gable and Sami Zayn. Gable, the challenger for Zayn's title. Zayn, as I said, he won this at Mania against Gunther, ending his 666-day reign. Gable, 10 years in the company, never held a singles title, and I absolutely can see why. Tremendous conditioning and skill, but he is just a cookie cutter. He's got some nice moves, very reminiscent of like Dollar General Kurt Angle. This guy, I don't want to poo-poo him because he was an Olympian. World-class athlete, but that doesn't always transfer into... Now, he's been with the company for 10 years. Obviously, there's something there. He is very technically sound and proficient, but it's just there's something missing, Gable targets Zayn's knee in an attempt to ground him. It's unsuccessful. He loses after an exploder and a Helova kick. Zayn retains, but Gable heel turns and beats him down post-match. And yeah, that was the end of Raw on the 15th. Decent show, nothing great, nothing too terrible. But the heel turn for Chad Gable, we'll see how that plays out. Cody, of course, he had to come out, cut another promo. We got Rhea, that whole Liv Morgan segment kind of leading into that because they're going to have to do something for the title here coming up, for the women's title very soon. And yeah, that'll be kind of interesting to see what they do with that spot and who ends up carrying the ball as the, basically placeholder champion until Mommy gets back from injury. Let's go over to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Friday Night Smackdown, April 19th. Right now, this is probably the way more, I can't even say, it's the more enjoyable of the two shows. It really is. We start out hot. Match 1. Number 1 contender. Winner faces Cody Rhodes at Backlash. Los Angeles Knight versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Great back and forth. Both guys get their stuff in. Put on a clinic on how to tell a story and use high spots as an accent to a very good match. And I saw somebody on Twitter say LA Knight needs to stop the jumping corner suplex spot. No, he does not. That spot is money every time. Styles wins with a phenomenal forearm, which is both good and bad, and I'll explain. It's good because now LA Knight won't have to do the job for Cody at Backlash because you know that they are not going to let Cody Rhodes keep the belt for a month and then take it off of him with everything they have invested in him right now in Mastori. So yeah, that's not going to happen. This is, Cody is going to keep the belt. So the bad side of this is delaying a title run for LA Knight longer could diminish his shine and more over time. So I just don't want to see that happen because I really like LA Knight and enjoy his work. And I want to see him, kind of get the rub We go last week's Bloodline promo recapped in a hype video. Tama Tonga joining, kicking out Jimmy Uso. This leads to an outdoor promo where Paul Heyman meets with Solo and Toma, and Solo wants to be taken to Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens, he cut in front of them, went into Cody's locker room, which used to be the Bloodline locker room. So he has crossed the new boss of the Bloodline, which they are alluding to here. We go to an in-ring promo. Nick Aldis and Triple H, A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller receive their WWE Tag Team Championships. And much like on Raw, we get the number one contenders match with the Street Profits, Ford and Dawkins versus the New Catch Republic, Dunn and Tyler Bate versus the Authors of Pain, Akam and Rezar, and then Legado del Fantasma, Angel and Berto. And the Street Profits win with a revolution on El Taco Delgado to become the number one contenders to A-Town Down Under in what was a underwhelming match. Only worse than the triple threat tag match is the fatal four-way tag match that is always boils down to a overbooked veritable clusterfuck. So we go from that into a promo backstage. Bayley with Byron Saxton talks about Rhea vacating the title and her match coming up with Naomi later on tonight for her newly won women's title. In-ring promo, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman. The crowd gives us a "We Want Roman" chant, which, I'm realizing now how much I didn't appreciate Roman Reigns as much as I should have while he was still here. Crowd boos Solo as he talks about last week. And then Tama Tonga comes out dragging a bloody and beaten Kevin Owens, who eventually gets hit with a Samoan spike and just takes a hell of a beat down here. And Aldis and Heyman, they show out in the parking lot. We had a car accident, and this is how Kevin Owens was bloodied, was Tama Tonga rammed his car into Owens' car, and then he brought him in, and here we are. So they're setting that up right now for, Solo with Kevin Owens. It'll probably be Tama, and I imagine Kevin Owens will probably go to the well and maybe pull in Sami Zayn into this. I don't know. I'm still waiting to see where Gunther lands. After losing his title, he needs to be moved up to a main event scene somewhere. That's another one. This guy carried the IC title and made it really, really, really relevant again for 666 days. He's another guy that deserves. They do have a lot going on in the main event scene. I'll give WWE that right now. So match number 3, Carlito versus Santos Escobar. Two people I could not care less about. Carlito, although he looks great, we knew there was no way he was losing this or winning this match. He holds to form. Escobar wins a lackluster, boring match with a phantom driver. Then we go to a live promo with Damage Control from a luxury box, and no one cared until we got a camera shot of the luxury box next to them, and we see Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Their music hits. They show up, and they kind of had a back and forth, and we're setting up here the Kabuki Warriors to drop their titles to Jade and Bianca. That's, if you didn't know or you couldn't tell, that's what we're setting up, and the match will probably be very, very non-competitive in a squash. And I say that as somebody who loves Jade Cargill. I mean, I think the world of her. I really think she has a lot of potential. Some people don't grasp the business in a way that they come across as believable on television. And some of her moves look fantastic and others just don't. So I really want her to get better, because if not, she should just go play Storm in the new X-Men movie, because she looks like a superhero. Match number 4, main event. Bayley, the champion, defending against Naomi. Boring match. Gets thrown out when Tiffany Stratton saves it by interfering, beats up Naomi, beats Bayley down, hits a gorgeous moonsaw because it was Tiffy time onto both of them. And SmackDown is over, and this is a good setup to involve her in the title picture. Overall, again, SmackDown wins this week out of the two shows. It was way more fun. The matches were Escobar and Carlito, not the best. Even the Bayley and Naomi match, it wasn't good, but Tiffany kind of saved it at the end with the interference. And I don't want to see a bunch of fuck finishes, but this makes sense because Tiffany felt slighted. She wasn't Bayley's #1 contender after a promo. And, you're setting up your tag team feud right here, with the four-way. And then the WWE tag team champions are, Waller and Theory now. So you've got A-Town Down established, and they're going to be working the angle with the Street Profits. You've got AJ Styles going over on Night. So there's a lot that happened these 2 episodes and this episode of SmackDown. So yeah, we are really looking ahead here to Backlash, and we'll see what happens on the next episodes of Raw and SmackDown. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Etep from the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all these. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I will catch you on the next one.